On today's episode of the Cryptoverse. Did you know that PIVX is a fork of Dash? Well, let's visit the Merkle and get the highlights. TunnelBear is the simple VPN app that makes it easy to browse the web privately and enjoy a more open and secure internet experience. Try TunnelBear for free by checking out the link in the video description below. Hi there guys, and welcome to the latest episode of the Cryptoverse, your regular dose of news and commentary on Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies and blockchains. I am your host, Chris Coney. Today is Monday the 27th of March 2017. I have one announcement today and then we'll get into the market roundup. Just a quick note to mention that I'm about to go up to the next level of my meditation program. That means it's going to put me under a lot of strain, which is what happens when I step up the intensity. So if over the next few weeks I put out some episodes where my voice isn't very lively or very enthusiastic, then at least you'll know why. So if that happens, just bear with me. It's temporary, and once I've adjusted and processed it, I'll be back to normal. So for the market roundup, we turn to coinmarketcap.com. Let's take a quick look at Bitcoin's dominance. Bitcoin's market share today is at 67.6%, still dreadful by historical comparison. This is the first market roundup since the weekend, so I'll have to overlay this with a bit of stuff that I noticed that happened over the weekend. The first coin I'll mention is Decred. I checked their site out, and yes, Decred does stand for decentralized credit, just as I suspected. Now, Decred is up almost 30% today, but that doesn't explain how come Decred is now number 10 by market cap. Well, this is because over the weekend, Decred managed to more than double in value, putting it where it is now at $17.23 a coin. Now, I did say this was one to watch. If you haven't already been over to the Coinbase YouTube channel and then watched the Decred presentation that was given to Coinbase developers and team members, I highly recommend that you do that. Now, a couple of places below Decred in 13th position is Golem, up 30.1% today, and having a coin value of 5.5 cents. Golem is now in alpha if you fancy checking that out. And the biggest loser today is Steam, down almost 5% today, putting it at 17 cents a coin. Now, Steam has returned to 17 cents a coin after a big spike over the weekend and then it coming back down again. The good news for Steam is that busy.org is now running on the Steam blockchain. So if you haven't checked out busy.org yet, I highly recommend that as well. So for the news segment today, I've turned to the Merkle. It's a slow news day today, and rather than picking out any old news story, I've opted to highlight a few points that the Merkle here have pointed out about PIVX, which I was not personally previously aware of, because I've not yet read the PIVX whitepaper in full, and I haven't studied PIVX in any detail. It's just one of many other projects that I've got to get my head around. But these high-level points are quite enlightening, so let's run through them. Beginning with this opening statement that says PIVX, which stands for Private Instant Verified Transaction, offers what it terms an upgrade of the Dash code from which the currency was built. Now, I knew PIVX had a sort of resemblance to Dash in the way that it functioned, but I didn't know that it actually started out in life with the Dash code base. This to me is like Charles Darwin's theory of evolution of cryptocurrencies. First there was Bitcoin, then Litecoin was a fork of that, which is like a genetic mutation that has a faster block time. Then Dash forks off of Litecoin and mutates into something else with these additional features. And now PIVX has forked off from Dash and then mutated into something else. It's exactly like I was saying on the live stream yesterday. These mutated coins are evolving and adapting based on the environment left over by their parents. So each new project is trying to improve on whatever it forked off of. So the article continues here by saying, Some of the differences between the two includes PIVX adopting proof of stake and a new community governance system. The big change there is that PIVX is doing away with mining via proof of work. Right? The popular objection I hear to proof of work is that it has a huge energy cost, right? It's a huge consumer of energy. And to that, I personally say, yes, that is true, but you can't take energy consumption in isolation. It's not inherently a bad thing. You have to look at what you're getting for that energy investment and then decide whether the output or the result is worth the input. So in Bitcoin, the energy consumption leads to a highly secure, immutable, and reliable system of money. And given the horrors that have come about because of the old system of money, I personally think it's a great return on investment. So then moving on, it says, users can earn PIVX through staking, which is simply holding tokens in their online wallet to support the security of the PIVX network. Such is the definition of proof of stake. So like the network randomly selects someone on the network who has some coins in their wallet, they get to mine the next block, they get the block reward, and then someone else is randomly selected to mine the next block. And of course, the benefit of that is that new coins that are created, they're equally available for every user as long as you win the lottery. And that is rather than only those people who can afford large mining operations getting those newly created coins. So that's the theory. It then says PIVX, a Dash fork, inherits all of Dash's features such as masternodes. Well, this is something I'm going to have to research. The thing about Dash's model is that it has a hybrid between proof of work mining and this energy intensive process and proof of stake. So the proof of stake part in Dash is handled by the masternodes, who lock up 1,000 Dash and then they receive a share of the newly created coins. Now, if PIVX allows anyone to stake coins and then receive block rewards, the question is, what is the incentive to run a PIVX masternode? And also, what's the difference between a regular staking node and a masternode? And that's a question I need to seek an answer to. And I'm sure there's a perfectly good answer for that. Otherwise, PIVX would have just done away with masternodes altogether. But they need masternodes in order to do things like coin mixing for the private transactions. It's just a question of how you incentivize people to become masternodes. It does say here that they have something called the seesaw algorithm that dynamically alters the reward split between masternodes and regular staking nodes. So that's probably where the answer lies. I'll have to set aside some time to read the white paper in full later today. So in terms of additional features, it says the PIVX team is also working on further improving the platform by upgrading it to the 0.12.1 Dash core with enhanced features like the implementation of the Zero Coin protocol with non-optional minting, IP version 6 support, along with existing IP version 4 support and support for the Tor network. You know, after I read that, I did have a quick scan through the white paper, but it doesn't mention the Zero Coin protocol. That's actually a separate technology that was originally intended to make Bitcoin transactions anonymous, and it later developed into its own currency called Zcash. Now, since PIVX has some Bitcoin DNA, they're likely making use of this Zero Coin protocol in an attempt to improve on Dash's transaction privacy. And on top of that, it says here that they're going to support Tor as well for an additional layer of anonymization. And then a final point on the whole idea of making the coin issuance fairer and the governance fairer. It says PIVX is building a democratic community governance system. By taking power away from masternodes and decentralizing it, effectively giving each holder a vote. It says they're going to use a best practice system labeled Proposal Promotion Level, PPL, that will ensure that every community member's voice is heard and taken into consideration. Well, if they can do that, it will be somewhat of a holy grail. You know, one of the problems with proof of stake is that the more coins you have, the more voting power you have. That's actually one of the criticisms still hanging over Dash. You know, how do we know if one person controls half of all the voting power? Well, we don't, and we can't know either way. You know, I've spoken about this before, but to my mind, The only way to solve this would be some kind of proof of individuality that allows us to remain anonymous at the same time. And I suggested in previous episodes that might be like a basket of biometric data like retina scan, fingerprint, you hash it all together, you sign that as a private key essentially, and that would be the proof of your individuality. And then every time you want to sign something, you would, again, have all of those things scanned, put them all in a basket, and if the sum total of those matched something you'd previously signed, you could say that you did both of those transactions and it was you. So the question is, how do we verify that something was done by a unique individual? James D'Angelo put out a video a couple of years ago. He called it nodes versus noses. Because a node is not individual. Anyone can set up any number of nodes. Like I can go now and set up 1,000 Bitcoin Unlimited nodes, and it would look like 1,000 new Bitcoin Unlimited nodes had been created on the network, although it would only be one unique individual behind it. So this is a technology that would benefit all blockchain projects, in my opinion, if we can somehow figure out a way to represent unique individuals in a digital space. Now, I don't think that PIVX have solved this problem, but I am open to being wrong. So thanks for joining me today, guys. If you liked this episode, hit the like button. If you disliked it, hit the dislike button. Please leave me a comment below with some feedback and get subscribed. And please support the Cryptoverse and boost cryptocurrency adoption by going to cryptoversity.com/podcast and becoming a patron. From just a few dollars a month, you can secure Cryptoversity's future, get unlimited access to all Cryptoversity courses, and access a private patrons-only chat group where you get direct access to me. That is all for today, guys. I'll be back tomorrow with another episode of the Cryptoverse. So until then, it's me, Chris Coney, saying bye for now.